Hi there guys, and welcome to the latest episode of the Cryptoverse, your regular dose of news and commentary on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchains. My name's Chris Coney, I am the host of the Cryptoverse and the founder of cryptoversity.com, which is the online school where you set the price to learn about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchains. And you can find out more at cryptoversity.com. On the podcast page, you can subscribe to the Cryptoverse on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, and Steemit. If you'd like to support the Cryptoverse, please vote for this episode on Steemit, like it on YouTube, and also, if you wish, contribute some Bitcoin directly using the Bitcoin address on that page. So let's move on to the markets today. Bitcoin has recovered somewhat today, up 3.8% in the last 24 hours. The Ethereum core has recovered 8% of the losses from recently. And Ethereum Classic has dropped to 4th position in terms of overall market cap. And that's not because Ethereum Classic has lost any value. It's pretty much maintained the same price. It's just that Steem has gained 6.3%. And that's brought it back above Ethereum Classic in terms of overall market cap. The other big movers today, I see that MadeSafe has gained 10.5%, which is quite a bit. And Monero's up 12%. Digix DAO up 16%. Well, there was some quite big drops yesterday, so everything seems to be recovering today. And it's good to see Bitcoin back up another 3.8%. So looking at the Bitcoin price chart, we had these 3 days of big falls. And then the last 2 days, yesterday and today so far, there have been some reasonably good gains. So right now, Bitcoin is sitting at $572. This is why I said yesterday that whenever there's any sort of a crisis in the Bitcoin, it doesn't really faze me. All those people that sold their Bitcoins yesterday, the day before that, well, they're going to have egg on their face because just like every time before, Bitcoin's going to recover. It's not going to die. It's just it's just another exchange. I say another exchange, but it's only an exchange that's gone down. If you didn't catch yesterday's episode, you can check that out. So we'll keep an eye on the price as always. Let's take a look at the news today. So first we'll take a look at this article from CoinDesk, which is from today. It was only posted about 5 hours ago. And the title is Bitfinex releases an initial relaunch plan for its Bitcoin exchange. It's a very short article, so let's whip through this one first, then we'll look into the Bitfinex thing a bit deeper. So this reads, Bitfinex is planning to slowly re-enable user access following its announcement that it had been hacked and robbed of nearly 120,000 Bitcoins earlier this week. In a new message today, the exchange reiterated past statements that it is in the midst of bringing the exchange online, a process that would include allowing users to check balances. Trading withdrawals and deposits will remain suspended. The first step in bringing the site online and allowing users to log in and view the state of their accounts. Oh, that's the first step, said the exchange. Bitfinex closed its trading platform on Tuesday after revealing that it had lost exactly 119,756 Bitcoin, an amount worth roughly $69.5 million at current prices. Notably, the statement did not detail how the exchange will handle user losses, an aspect Representative Zane Tackett indicated via social media that they would be outlining in greater detail a statement expected later today. Bitfinex's announcement included the prices at which it would settle margin positions live on the site at the time of its closure. Among these were standing Bitcoin prices of $604 and $10.19 per Ether. The exchange also said that withdrawals, open orders, and funding offers will be cancelled. News of the hack and theft sparked broad debate across the Bitcoin industry, given the exchange's high profile as a global Bitcoin exchange and the amount lost in the incident. The hack revived memories of Mt. Gox, the Japanese Bitcoin exchange that collapsed in early 2014 and resulted in hundreds of millions of dollars in client losses. And that's it for that update. Now, that's not very fair. The only real similarity between Mt. Gox and Bitfinex is that they're both Bitcoin exchanges. The reason why Mt. Gox failed and the reason why Bitfinex failed, they're very, very different indeed. If you, Andreas Antonopoulos has a video or number of statements that we made about Mt. Gox and why, what was the major contributor to them failing. And as a technology and a security expert, Andreas talks about how the Mt. Gox's back-end technology system was just so poor and it couldn't scale. And that was primarily the beginning of the end for them. So the security breaches at Mt. Gox were born out of poor infrastructure. So with Bitfinex, I don't think they have as a sloppy infrastructure as Mt. Gox. I read something on Steemit yesterday that suggested that Bitfinex may have been insolvent from the point of view of they were loaning Bitcoin to traders for short selling, but they didn't have that much Bitcoin on hand. Now, I haven't verified or falsified that yet, but that was something I read on Steemit. If you want to check that article out, it was written by a particular trader who traded on Bitfinex, and he said he saw the collapse coming a few days prior. All right, let's check out the second article on Bitfinex from CoinDesk. And this one reads, Bitfinex Bitcoin hack. What we know and what we don't know. So let's see what this one's got to say for itself. More than $60 million worth of Bitcoin was stolen from one of the world's largest digital currency exchanges yesterday, and nearly 24 hours later, the event is still shrouded in mystery. What is clear, though, is that the impact is far-reaching. The Bitfinex theft represents the largest loss of Bitcoins by an exchange since Japan's infamous Mt. Gox lost 744,000 Bitcoins in early 2014, worth $350 million, a breach that would ultimately cause it to cease operations. At press time, the value of the 119,000 Bitcoin stolen from Bitfinex stands at roughly $66 million, or about 18% of what was lost by Mt. Gox. Well, that's a huge difference, isn't it? So Bitfinex lost 119,000 Bitcoin, and Mt. Gox lost 744,000. That's huge, isn't it? So given the size, the theft has sparked confusion and frustration among market traders and observers since it was announced. Sources close to the exchange have largely avoided offering comment on whether the 119,000 Bitcoin stolen represents the full extent of the hack, and Bitfinex itself has yet to publish any findings from its ongoing internal investigation. Here's what we know so far and don't know so far. So before we go on there, don't you wonder where this money went? And what I mean by that is I don't think that there's like an inside job, even though that some people suspect that. What I mean is, think about the hackers that stole this money. Did you ever think about that? And what they've done with it? You know what I mean? Are they now living in Monte Carlo with 7 Ferraris in the driveway? I don't know. Possibly. So here's what we know and what we don't know. What we know. Multi-signature accounts were impacted. The source of the vulnerability appears to lie in how Bitfinex structured its accounts and its use of Bitcoin wallet provider BitGo as an additional layer of security on customer transactions. Announced in 2015, Bitfinex and BitGo created a system whereby multi-signature wallets, those where keys are divided among a number of it's describing what multi-signature wallets are. Announced in 2015, Bitfinex and BitGo created a system whereby multi-signature wallets were used, and those are where keys are divided amongst a number of owners to manage a risk. So that means instead of just having one single private key to unlock a Bitcoin wallet, there are multiple private keys required to unlock a Bitcoin wallet. So that was provided to each customer as an additional security layer. So that sounds like a good practice, right? So it says the exchange declared at the time, quote, the era of commingling customer Bitcoin and all the associated security exposures is over, close quote. As referenced in the quote, the company sought to find an alternative to the standard processes used by exchanges at the time that saw customers' funds commingled in larger offline wallets and connected or hot wallets used to meet liquidity requirements. Rather, each Bitfinex user has their own set of keys created on the platform using a 2 of 3 key arrangement, whereby Bitfinex held 2 of the keys, including one offline, and BitGo used the third to co-sign transactions. In order to withdraw such a large amount of funds, BitGo would likely have had to sign off on those transactions. Very interesting. Bitfinex customer losses significant. While the full extent of the consumer losses or the customer losses on an individual basis is unclear, signs indicate a significant subset of the Bitcoin trading community was impacted. In the hours following the news, community members took to Twitter and Reddit to report that their accounts had been drained. Some users expressed exasperation despite having security measures like two-factor authentication in place, in which secondary devices, like a mobile phone, are used to provide an additional passkey layer. On the other hand, funds transferred to the exchange following the hack are said to be secure, but the exchange has yet to release details on both when and how withdrawals will be managed. So prices have fallen sharply. One of the most direct impacts of the Bitfinex hack could be seen in the price of Bitcoin, which plunged after the news broke. Prices fell by nearly 20%, tumbling as low as $480 before recovering. At press time, the price of Bitcoin is approximately $552, according to CoinDesk's Bitcoin USD price index, roughly $70 from yesterday's low. Well, that's gone up since then. As of right now, it's $571. So Bitfinex remains offline. At press time, Bitfinex remains offline, with its message announcing the hack is visible to users, or is still visible to users. Statements from Bitfinex suggest that the company is looking to initially bring this site online so that users can check their balances and determine whether their accounts have been drained. Okay, so let's do a test for ourselves. Let me go to the Bitfinex website and see what it displays. So if I go to bitfinex.com, it says Bitfinex update as of the 3rd of August. It says, okay, there's a short statement here that says, we are currently in an ongoing process of restoring limited functionality in a secure environment, with full functionality coming afterwards in progressive stages. The first step is bringing the site online, allowing users to log in and view the state of their accounts. Note that initially trading deposits, withdrawals, and other core site functionality will be disabled. To accommodate the relaunch, all withdrawals, open orders, and open fund offers will be cancelled. Furthermore, in order to compute losses for relevant parties, settlement of all finance position will occur in all accounts. Margin positions for all pairs will be settled and closed using the following prices, representing the midpoint of bid and ask on the 2nd of August, and it lists a bunch of prices. Further announcements about the steps of the relaunch will be posted as progress is made. All significant changes to feature availability will be announced in advance. We will strive to keep you as informed as we can. Well, it doesn't actually state what's happened, if you know what I mean. It says, it's only in the second paragraph where it says about the losses. Oh, I've lost that bit of the... there we go. Yeah, so it's in the second or third line of the second paragraph where it says, furthermore, in order to compute losses for relevant parties. Well, relevant parties, do they mean the traders? I mean, that's because they shouldn't incur any losses. That's the very definition of making a customer whole. If you did something that caused them to lose money, so if they're I don't know about that. Relevant parties to me sounds like they're referring to users of Bitfinex. That's not going to go down very well. Anyway, so what we don't know. Who is to blame? Given the amount of money that's involved, many in the community have been searching for a scapegoat. One obvious target has been Bitfinex itself, which had possession of 2 of the 3 keys needed for funds lost from the multi-signature accounts. Others have questioned whether weaknesses in BitGo's model were exposed in the incident as well. Yesterday, BitGo took to social media to state that an internal investigation had turned up no evidence of a server breach on their end. Yet despite the assurances, some observers have blamed the service for blindly signing the withdrawal of nearly 120,000 Bitcoin, and wondered why no potential countermeasures were in place in the event of a movement of funds of that size. With 30-day transaction volumes just above 600,000 Bitcoin, the hack was roughly 1/6 the size of the exchange's monthly orders. When will fiat funds be accessible? One prevailing question among the customers is the status of deposits not denominated in Bitcoin. Since the hack was first revealed, Bitfinex stated that only its Bitcoin holdings were impacted. More than a few customers are now taking to social media to ask when they'll be able to access or withdraw those funds. Answers may be coming soon, however. Representative Zane Tackett, who has been responding to queries via social media since the incident first came to light, said that more updates are forthcoming. Were other exchanges impacted? Other market observers were quick to speculate on whether the outage could lead to complications at other exchanges that may have been using Bitfinex as a source of liquidity. It is known that Bitfinex did offer an API, and that it was at the time used by exchanges, although the primary end markets appeared to be brokers and traders. Such an issue was exposed by a hack at Bitstamp in early of 2015, when exchanges, merchants, and ATM providers connected to the exchange experienced a notable disruption. At press time, it's unclear if any smaller exchanges were impacted, and smaller exchanges contacted by CoinDesk reported no descriptions. In statements to CoinDesk, however, exchanges Kraken and Bitstamp indicated that their approaches to implementing BitGo's multi-sig technology differed from that of Bitfinex. There's a quote here: "For now, I can already say that Bitstamp's implementation of BitGo's multi-sig technology is fundamentally different from the one at Bitfinex." That was a statement by Vasya Zupan, head of business development for Bitstamp, and he said that to CoinDesk. In an email, Kraken CEO Jesse Powell said that while he couldn't offer details on the exchange's security measures, he remarked that we're confident in our configuration in light of the Bitfinex breach. Here's another question. Is BitGo's business model at risk? Whether BitGo is deemed at fault, it may be losing the battle of public opinion. Sources suggest BitGo's business model was primarily based on charging enterprise clients for services, and that Bitcoin exchanges were the company's primary target market. One major exchange representative said that the incident has raised issues with the multi-sig security model, and that further rollout was likely to be delayed as a result of the breach. Yet, statements from exchanges about the viability of their own BitGo implementations suggest that at least some of the services customers aren't looking to make any changes, at least for now. Here's a final question. Is the CFTC to blame? Bitfinex settled with the United States Commodity Futures Trading Commission earlier this year over alleged trading violations, paying just $75,000 settlement while neither admitting nor denying the charges. Sorry, the article doesn't say just, I said just. So they paid a $75,000 settlement. And I said just $75,000 because that to me doesn't sound like a lot of money for an exchange. So at issue, the CFTC said at the time was how the exchange held control of Bitcoin private keys tiered to user funds or tied to users' funds connected to financed trading. The agency's view was that these Bitcoins weren't actually delivered following the purchase of them, but rather remained under the control of Bitfinex. Since the hack, some critics have pointed to that language in the CFTC settlement as creating the ideal conditions for the theft by prohibiting Bitfinex from using cold storage for customers' funds. Advocacy group Coin Center, however, moved to dismiss the claim that CFTC was to blame, arguing that multisig is one of a number of security approaches and, like others, is prone to vulnerability or failure. Press materials from last year also indicate that Bitfinex's relationship with BitGo predates the CFTC's investigation. And that is the end of the article. Wow. Very interesting, isn't it? I'm just taking a quick look at the comments here. There's nothing particularly of interest there. So, interesting. There's no mention here of what I mentioned from that trader on Steemit about Bitfinex being insolvent. I would check that out because it goes into a bit of detail about how stuff happened before the Brexit vote was announced and how the balance of buy and sell orders was shifting significantly. And being a trader, knowing the ins and outs, he saw the increase in sell orders, short sells, and then decided that things were looking a bit unstable and decided to withdraw his funds several days before the system went down. So yes, that's going to do it for today's edition of the Cryptoverse. I'm sorry there's not a huge amount of conclusion on this today, but this is an ongoing thing. If you'd like to support the Cryptoverse, you can go to cryptoversity.com/podcast, subscribe on your favorite channel, and please go to Steemit and vote for this episode to support it, or donate some Bitcoin directly using the Bitcoin address on that page. Remember to check out the main site, which is cryptoversity.com, the online school where you set the price, to learn about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and blockchains. That's all for today, guys. My name's Chris Coney, and until the next episode, it's bye for now.